Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Glover. Thank you for joining us. Toronto will soon have a new 50,000-person venue at the old Downsview Airport. Live Nation announced this morning that the stadium will open next summer, and City Hall reporter Sean Jeffords has all the details.
If you were one of the 500,000 people there in July 2003, you probably have vivid memories of Saarstock. The concert, aimed at reviving Toronto's tourism scene after the deadly SARS epidemic, was a smash hit. And it made memories for many, including Premier Doug Ford.
Folks, the last time I was at a concert here was the SARS concert with the Rolling Stones. I'll never forget that.
And Ford was part of an event today announcing the return of major concerts to the former Downsview Airport, which hosted Saarstock more than 20 years ago. Live Nation, Rogers, and Northcrest Developments will partner to build a new outdoor venue on the site. The temporary stadium will have a capacity of 50,000 with 30,000 seats.
So today we unveil a
Live Nation's Eric Hoffman says the venue will host some of the biggest acts in the world.
This was a natural response to an unprecedented amount of stadium-level artists on the road today. We now have another home for them to perform.
The site will also cater to a wide variety of audiences, he says.
This new venue will be home to a diverse group of entertainers and performers at the highest level, from K-pop to Afrobeat, Punjabi to Latin.
What an exciting day.
Mayor Olivia Chow stressed the venue will be good for the city's thriving arts scene. It'll also create jobs and inject millions into the local economy.
This new stadium will continue to cement Toronto's status as the premier destination for live music, entertainment, and the arts.
The new stadium will be built at the old Downsview Airport, not to be confused with the events that take place at nearby Downsview Park. It will be temporary, but it's expected to be in place for a number of years as the site is developed. Northcrest Developments plans to add 7 new neighborhoods and 55,000 residents over the next 30 years. The CEO of the company says one of the main advantages the site will have is access.
One of the amazing things about the site that we've selected with Live Nation is the fact that it's a 5-minute walk from Downsview Park subway. So it is actually easier to get to than almost any other music venue in the city. But because there's been a fence around the site while it was an operating airport, people aren't used to coming here.
And music lovers won't have to wait long for the new stadium to open. The first show is expected to take place next June. Sean Jeffords, CBC News, Toronto.
Back downtown, another new project to tell you about. Another section under the Gardiner Expressway is set to be transformed into an outdoor public space. The Bentway, best known for its outdoor skating track and art activations, is developing or planning to develop another portion offering vertical communities a place to gather and to play. Dale Manukduk has this story.
Underneath this section of the Gardiner, the rumble of passing cars and honking horns fills the air. In a few years' time, it might be replaced by the sound of children playing and perhaps a bark or two.
This huge area here is right under our noses and could go to support new forms of recreation in the downtown corridor. I don't think anybody would have thought that the under Gardiner could support winter skate trail, and it's one of our most popular features at the Bentway Phase 1.
Phase 1 of the Bentway serves Fort York and runs 1.75 kilometers towards Strawn Avenue. Phase 2 is for City Place and plans to stretch from Danlecki Way to Spadina, totaling 125,000 square feet.
Definitely being nice to have more space for her to run around, for sure. Yeah, it's you gotta kind of have to venture around to find the space for your four-legged friends.
It's just like a casual space, like that third space that people always say that are like kind of decreasing around major cities. I think it's a good spot just to like relax. There's no time limit, you know, you can just stay as long as you want. Our kid can run around.
The project will build on the success of the Bentway, which operates a popular figure-8 skating track, and throughout the year, lots of other programming, like a recent Domino's track that drew a massive crowd. To help, the Bentway tapped New York-based design company Field Operations, the brain trust behind the Empire State's The High Line and Miami's The Underline. Converting existing underused city spaces into exciting, engaging public space that have huge activation potential is trending.
This has long been what cities do, is they see what they imagine as their peers, and they try and emulate that. And that's part of what's going on here.
The City of Toronto helped pay for the initial Phase 2 design work. The project will need to secure government and private funding and hopes to open by 2029. This assistant professor is concerned about private money being used to leverage public dollars.
People who disagree with me might say, well, the High Line has brought in X number of tourist dollars to New York City, and so it has kind of paid itself off in a way. But the people who are living the West Side, and I know New York well because I did my doctoral research there, the High Line was also really an engine for quite tremendous gentrification with very few protections for the people that were living around it.
The area has seen enormous growth over the last decade, with a lot more construction underway.
It's really important as hundreds of thousands of new downtown residents continue to come to this area that we're ensuring that they have adequate access to public realm spaces.
Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Toronto now has 4 emergency services that operate citywide. In addition to police, fire, and ambulance, we now have the Toronto Community Crisis Service. The program provides emergency support for people dealing with mental health issues. Greg Ross explains.
The Community Crisis Service, we are expanding it citywide.
The mayor was on hand for the official launch of Toronto's Community Crisis Service, a program that began operation in 2022, servicing select parts of the city. Now all Torontonians have access to it.
It is a consent-based, client-centered, community-led model that provides 24/7 response for people who are experiencing mental health crisis, need a wellness check, or having a substance use issue.
The city has 12 mobile units and dozens of trained crisis workers.
All of us have a background in mental health, so that way we can support someone by explaining, what's happening. We could explain to the family what's going on. We also have resources and agencies that we partner with in the community.
We do have a multidisciplinary team that's culturally diverse. We do speak over 15 languages on our team.
The city developed this service after years of pressure from community leaders who demanded a non-police response to mental health calls. Now police have the option to use TCCS as a tool when they encounter somebody having a mental health crisis.
They may attend a call, and it may be something that is not under their scope, right? It could be someone that's experiencing a psychosis break, and they may not understand what's happening at the time, so they call us. They support us, we support them, we work together.
The mayor says she would like to expand this program with more funding and more staff, but it may require help from other levels of government.
This is healthcare. And I'm hoping that other levels of government will also join and partner with us. At this point, it's 100% funded by the City of Toronto.
The Toronto Community Crisis Service also has an emergency call center. The city is encouraging people who need help dealing with a mental health crisis for themselves or somebody else to call 211, where operators are available 24 hours a day. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
In Mississauga, a woman is dead and a man is in critical condition after a crash involving a tractor trailer and a garbage truck. It happened just before 2:30 this afternoon near Derry Road and Goreway Drive. Police say the woman who died was driving the garbage truck. Peel's Major Collision Bureau and the Ministry of Labor are investigating the crash, and witnesses or anyone with dash cam footage is urged to contact police. In Markham, Ontario, provincial police officers are investigating several incidents of rocks being thrown at moving vehicles. In one case, it caused a driver to lose control, resulting in life-threatening injuries. Clara Pasica has the details.
Last Friday night, a little before midnight, a collision here at Major Mackenzie Drive and Highway 48 left debris across the intersection and 2 vehicles in a ditch. But police say that new information has come to light since being able to speak to the occupants of one of the vehicles. This detective explains.
The victim vehicle was just traveling along the roads in Markham on Highway 48 at Major Mac. When all of a sudden a vehicle lost control that was traveling westbound on Major Mackenzie Drive and struck the victim vehicle in the intersection. The injuries to the operator and the passenger of the vehicle that had lost control were quite significant. And so for a period of time, we didn't have the opportunity to interview them. And in fact, the driver of that vehicle remains in critical condition as of this morning. with life-threatening injuries. And what we have determined now that we've been able to speak with the passenger of the vehicle is that it appears that there's been a rock, a large, as I say, maybe describe it as a fist-sized rock that got thrown through the windshield of that vehicle prior to it losing control.
That detective described this incident as troubling and horrific. He says that there were 2 victims, a male and a female in their 60s, one able to speak to police, the other not stable enough to do so. It also was not the only incident on Highway 48 involving rocks going through windshields. But north of here, closer to Elgin Mills, earlier that evening, police say that there were reports of 2 separate incidents of rocks going through windshields. There were 2 victims in that case taken to hospital with minor injuries. Police say they are also looking into other potential rock incidents the week prior. As for Friday's incidents, the OPP has released some short videos that they've posted on social media. Police are hoping someone can identify these vehicles, saying these occupants may be able to assist in the investigation. They're saying that some of the occupants in the vehicles may have seen something and another may be directly involved in the incidents. Police are urging anyone who may have any more information or any dash cam video to contact them. They're saying that the potential charges in this case could be serious, including criminal negligence causing bodily harm, endangering life, or mischief. Clara Pasica, CBC News, Markham.
Returning now with a CBC Toronto exclusive. A woman says she was shocked watching an arrest Tuesday afternoon in an alley near Church and Isabella. She recorded the interaction where several police officers were seen punching and kicking a man on the ground during an arrest. Toronto police say they are reviewing the incident, but a former Police Services Board member says the interaction is part of a troubling trend, and he is now calling for a wider review of police takedowns. A group of onlookers shout at a couple of Toronto police officers as they attempt an arrest in an alley near Church and Isabella.
Do not hit him! What the f***? Stop it! Hey!
Star Spider shot this video and couldn't believe the number of officers who appeared.
What the f***?
Upwards of 9 officers were seen on top of the man, kicking and punching.
I was so aghast. I was astonished in the worst possible way that this had happened and not one person stopped to engage with him.
Watching the video back, she can't wrap her head around the callousness.
See, some of them are kicking him in this pile. One guy on the outside is just trying to get his foot in there. What is the point of that?
Do you think also that this is an example of police brutality?
Yes, absolutely. There was no reason to use that sort of force. There was no reason to punch him. There was no reason to throw him to the ground. He was already restrained by these 2 officers who were clearly overpowering him.
The video was very distressing. It was extremely disturbing, and it disgusted me.
A former chair of the Toronto Police Services Board, who subsequently authored a book on excessive force, says an officer's response must be proportionate with an emphasis on restraint.
Instead of trying to find out what was happening, they just join in and pile on this one frail person. I don't have words to describe it.
Toronto police say the initial officers were responding to a trespassing call. When the man resisted arrest, they called in backup.
What was the message that these 2 people, these 2 cops, sent out that led a posse of thugs to come rushing, and without checking, without gathering more information, just join in and viciously continue the assault?
Do you think that these officers should be charged with assault?
Absolutely.
Instead, police say it's the man who now faces charges, including assault with intent to resist. In a statement, police say body-worn camera footage and any other video evidence will be collected and reviewed as per our procedures. Any necessary follow-up regarding officer training or conduct will be addressed. Police also say the man did not require medical attention.
I don't want to leap to judgment immediately, so we'll see where the investigation goes.
While the mayor, who hasn't watched the video, is reserving judgment, Alec Mukherjee has seen enough.
Is the Police Services Board? Is nobody there saying, what's going on? in our jurisdiction. Why is this kind of behavior happening again and again and again?
He is now calling for the Police Services Board to launch a review of the chief's handling of officer interactions.
I'm sorry to say, this incident to me was the last straw under this chief. I mean, the callousness, the brazenness that people are standing there, they are disturbed, they are screaming, and those men could not care less.
In a statement, the Police Services Board wrote the board is prohibited from making policies or decisions with respect to specific investigations, the conduct of specific operations, the discipline of specific police officers, and the day-to-day operations of the police service.
It's clear as the video progresses that the individual's hands are not secured.
This retired staff sergeant and former use of force instructor notes in the video one of the initial two officers was on his back, and depending on the officer's perception of risk, this could be in line with police training.
If the citizen is resisting that arrest, if the level of resistance is such that you require backup or assistance, that certainly would be within the areas of appropriate numbers and appropriate techniques.
His assessment was this may or may not have been in line with police training. What do you think of that?
It's shocking. It really is. We can't have police trained in any circumstance to use that kind of force. It doesn't make sense. It's not reasonable. And I think we can do better.
She says she's considering filing a complaint over an incident that has shaken her trust. Meanwhile, the assault trial for a Toronto police officer continued today. Reenactment video was shown today at Calvin Au's trial. He stands accused of assault causing bodily harm in a Kijiji deal gone wrong in which his friend was sold a fake Apple Watch. Ali Chiasson is following the trial.
Court was played video reenactments where Calvin Au himself demonstrates on a stand-in how he says he took Chad Facey to the ground after Facey sold Au's friend a fake Apple Watch. Au testifies it was not a football tackle. On cross-examination, prosecutor Sean Horgan attempted to pick it apart. He says, "You pushed him down." Au responds, "Disagree. I pulled him down. If you pulled him down, Chad would be on top of you." And "When you took him down, your shoulder hit him in the forehead. Agree or disagree?" Au responds, "Disagree." Au has pleaded not guilty to assault causing bodily harm. He was originally charged with manslaughter since Facey died that evening from an intracerebral hemorrhage. The charge was downgraded because while the autopsy concluded that Facey died from a brain bleed, there wasn't a conclusion on how he got it. The trial is about the alleged assault that gave him the bruise, which, according to the pathology opinion submitted in court this week, is also inconclusive. Quote, "Bruises like the one in this case can accidentally occur during the normal activities of daily living. Also, the bruise of the forehead cannot be explained by a fall backwards, striking the back of the head on the ground." The court was shown doorbell video of Facey leaving to meet Gurmak Benning and Calvin Au that day with the fake watch. They then played video of his friends ringing the doorbell of Facey's parents' house, saying he's hurt and can't feel his legs.
Complaining about like his legs.
Both Calvin Au and fellow off-duty officer Gurmak Benning, who was being sold the fake watch, testified that they do not recall the altercation with Facey being violent enough to have caused the bodily harm. Closing arguments take place next week. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Brampton.
South of the border, Hurricane Helene is lashing Florida as a powerful Category 4 storm, pushing in a life-threatening wall of water. Communities along Florida's west coast are inundated. A storm surge up to 6 meters is possible in some areas, a level called unsurvivable, and forecasters are warning of winds above 200 kilometers an hour. A swath from Georgia to Tennessee is under threat from Helene, and even Atlanta is under a warning. Insurers are bracing for potential losses of $3 to $6 billion. Chris, a beautiful night tonight, and it sounds like we're going to have a nice calm day tomorrow as well.
very calm for tomorrow. Obviously, the big weather story will be Hurricane Helene. And although remnants, once it moves inland and it weakens significantly, will at least try to move towards the north, it will prove unsuccessful in terms of what we're going to see from that particular feature. I think that we're going to escape with cloud cover for Saturday and Sunday, maybe the odd shower, but nothing more than that. And temperatures themselves will be relatively stable. Normal daytime high for this time of year is around 18.5. Normal overnight low, and I want to point this out, around 7.4. We've obviously not dropped to those values overnight for the past couple of nights, and we're not anticipating to drop towards that value over the next few nights, and daytime highs will still likely be in the low 20s. Normal daytime high, once again, 18. We peaked at 24 today, and 21 through Windsor. A little bit of cloud through southwestern Ontario. This is not Helene yet, but mid to high level cloud cover has moved in. It's basically holding just south of the lower Great Lakes. From time to time, some of that cloud will spill towards the north and move towards southern Ontario, but it's high level cloud. Doesn't block out the sun. Still going to be a bright, beautiful day to get out and enjoy. We have high pressure moving in towards the Great Lakes, and that will once again protect us from active weather through tonight, through tomorrow. It's into Saturday and Sunday that at least some moisture begins to lift in from the south. But like I said before, most areas will escape with just cloud cover. It's just a slight chance for a few hit or miss showers as we get through the day on Saturday. Nothing long lasting, nothing heavy, not much more than that. As we step forward into Sunday, for the GTA, it looks cloudy with a few sunny breaks, kind of a dimmer weather day, but once again, it looks like a drier weather day. A few hit or miss showers once again will at least try to move in towards Windsor, possibly north of the city, but for the most part, it's just a cloud cover situation. Similar story as we get through Sunday and into Monday as well. For overnight lows, anywhere from 17 in Windsor, 13 in Toronto, 10 in Ottawa, 9 through Peterborough. Daytime highs will be pretty stable, anywhere from 20 to 23, maybe 24. Humidity might make it feel as high as 25 to 26, so it's shaping up to be a gorgeous day to get out and enjoy. Saturday, not a bad looking day with once again a slight chance for a few hit or miss showers. Sunday, relatively cloudy but generally dry with a high of 21, 22 for Monday, and then Tuesday a separate system moves in from the west, and that will give us a higher risk of steadier rainfall, at least late in the day. Chris.
All right, some nice days in September still. Thank you.
You got it.